It's time to rip and tear through another awesome episode of the Powerful Nerdcast, my friends. We are indeed in a different world, an apocalyptic world, but so far not close to Mad Max. We're living in a coronavirus, COVID-19 world, and somehow we're still here, we're doing the show, and we're optimistic, because that's the way you gotta be during these times. It's safe to say that the last couple of weeks, there have been some crazy shit going on, right, Christian?
No, I think that we're in huge transformational times, and in the very beginning, I remember watching everything start changing. No more toilet paper. Everyone's rushing. There is no hand sanitizer anywhere. There is no Lysol wipes anywhere. There is no, like so many things that you can just find and we took for granted like 2 weeks ago are now gone, and high-end items. And I originally wasn't all that worried because I thought, this isn't my fault, so I'm just going to let this play out. But now I'm realizing I might have to let this play out for 3 to 8 months, and that's quite a world we're all going to live in.
It was a real culture shock for me because obviously I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you disappeared.
I just went on a cruise, which was awesome, by the way. It didn't really affect anything when I was away.
I can't believe you're telling people you went on a cruise, Corey.
Still,
just say you went on vacation.
I went on vacation. The point is I'm healthy, but now that you know that I was on a cruise, it is interesting to mention that this was like the last cruise to go out, or at least a part of the last fleet of cruises that was going to be going out, because now they are indefinitely in port and they're not allowed to leave.
And out of business.
Exactly. But I was basically off the grid for like a week. Like I made a mention to not get an internet package on my phone. I just wanted to go off the grid, relax, spend time with my girlfriend, my family, and just have a good time. And it was fantastic. But as soon as I got back,
boom,
man, I just open up my phone, turn on my Wi-Fi, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? You go on a Facebook, you go on a Twitter, and people are just going insane. And hilariously enough, all for fucking toilet paper.
Toilet paper was the thing. It got real for me when E3 got canceled, and I'm sure it was real for other people when March Madness got canceled. Because that wasn't, I don't care about sports.
Man, my dad, who is obsessed with sports, like this is the only thing he watches. If he's not watching like old Western movies on Turner Classic Movies, he's watching sports, and he's obsessed with baseball, basketball, NASCAR, all gone. All stopped.
More.
And unfortunately, during March, which is arguably the biggest month for basketball, March Madness, some of the biggest tournaments and the best games of the season. And man, I can just feel the disappointment on some people's faces. You can see it in the streets. You can see it in the attitudes of people. Well, actually, you can't see it in the streets because they're practically fucking empty. It's just
great for traffic.
It's crazy. But at the same time, I don't want to spend this whole podcast talking about this because
I'm glad we're touching on it, though.
Yeah, I mean, we had to talk about it at least for a second here. But the fact of the matter is you can go online and everything is coronavirus-centric. And my only advice for people is just to relax, stay calm, stay clean and healthy, and just help out your fellow man and woman. Just do what it takes to get through this entire crisis. Be patient. We will survive this, but it might take a little bit of time. And we've had a lot of things to help us get through this process. Lucky for us, we have a lot of hobbies that do not include sports, whether it be anime or manga or even brand new video games like Doom motherfucking Eternal, which just dropped, which we're definitely going to have to talk about a little bit.
Woo.
So there's plenty of things that you can do during this crisis, whether it's just simply relaxing or getting things done. But make sure to do it within the confines of your own home and hopefully distance yourself from some people.
I went to Walmart yesterday. I was like, holy shit. If this is serious, I'm putting myself at a huge risk right now going to Walmart and walking around that store. And I was like, I could see how people could easily scare themselves to really like not want to do anything. I personally been trying to go to one local restaurant, every day, like just go to one local restaurant and buy a lunch or a dinner there. And obviously you have to take it to go. And I can't go every day to a local restaurant, but I know I'm going to try to go a few times a week because those guys have got shut down completely. Yeah. You can't go eat inside restaurants anymore. And I just feel for small businesses because we work for one. We are one.
We are.
Yeah. And we're a live, video production company, and like everything 2 months out, 3 months out, just gone.
Just gone.
Nothing.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, this is scary. But at the same time, I'm like, but we can't control it. So it's sort of like, hey, let's have a good mindset. Try not to do dumb things like those videos of the guys in I think they're in Miami and Panama City right now doing spring break.
Yeah, I was about to mention.
That's so dumb.
The biggest advice that we've been receiving is social distancing.
Yeah.
Don't go into big crowds and big events. All these dumb people are celebrating spring break on the beach in droves. Look like goddamn seagulls trying to eat everything on the beach. And it's like the exact opposite of everything we need
we've been
to be happening.
We've been to Panama City. We've seen spring break up close. We get it. It's fun. But, like, don't hang out and drunk on a beach right now with 100 other people.
Let's slow the spread of this stuff. It's not going to look, the whole thing about social distancing, it's not going to eliminate this virus, but it's going to slow the spread and it's going to open up room in hospitals, and that's what they need to focus on right now.
Yeah. Keep the hospitals opening, keep everything operating, make it so we can get disinfectant. I still can't believe that the supply chains haven't figured out how to get the disinfectant, the hand sanitizer, the soap. Actually, I found a bunch of soap at Bed Bath & Beyond because we thought, hey, why don't we try to find a fancy soap place?
Yeah.
Instead of just try to look for soap. And it totally worked. We got like a great deal, like 6 for $12 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And now my hands smell like honey and lime. And all that other, whatever that goofy flavors are out there. The point is, like, just stay at home as much as you can or just walk around your neighborhood. And it doesn't mean you have to sit in your house and not move. Mm-hmm. Like, we went out and bought Doom Eternal, and I was like, okay, I can give away this weekend.
Yeah, now we're moving our hands on a controller.
I wiped my controller down.
Yeah?
I was like, shit. You got to see, there are some videos where they explain how germs work really well, and they just took a class of like 30 kids, and they just took 3 of the kids, and they put this dust on their hand, and it's that kind of dust that shows up under a black light, and then they just said, okay, and we're going to have the teacher have it too on her hand, because of course she's going to come in contact with those kids.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was all over the classroom by the end of the day, and it only started with 3 kids and the teacher,
That's disgusting.
And I was like, oh. That's how easy it is. That's why you don't touch your face. Like that's because your mouth and your ears, or your mouth, your ears, your nose, and your eyes are where the stuff can get in.
Yeah.
Like you can have that stuff all over your hands as long as you don't have a cut, it'll never get in your body. But it's when you touch your face that it all gets all over you. Anyway, I don't want to turn into a science podcast because I don't know much.
No.
I'm living in fear. I mean, I'm totally cool, guys. No problems.
Help us.
Help.
Anywho.
We're going to make it through this, guys.
But yeah, like I said, we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about today, though. We got the brand new game, Doom Eternal, and we even have some cool manga to talk about. One Piece, we got Dragon Ball Super. But let's go ahead and jump into Doom Eternal because it's the freshest thing on our minds right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably like 5 hours in.
In fact, the game actually released officially today, but we actually got the game yesterday because
we know some people.
They're called GameStop.
Yeah.
and they actually decided to release the game a day early because of everything that's going on with COVID-19. And they wanted to sort of reduce the crowds and people going into the stores all the time because for some crazy reason, GameStop is just open. People need those damn Funko Pops like there's no tomorrow.
GameStop's just trying to sell all these copies before they go out of business.
Pretty much. That's what I'm getting from this. But you know what? I'm happy. I got Doom Eternal early, and I played it last night. I played through like the first 3 levels.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say that we're both Doom fans. We've been playing this game like since it pretty much came out. The original one came out in like, what, 93?
I have installed Doom with CDs into more than 5 computers when I was a child. Okay, I played Doom a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah,
like it was a foundational game for my gaming like lineage. That's for sure.
I mean, I don't know if it's the first-person shooter, but it's definitely like the pioneer.
Oh yeah,
in like what we have today in terms of first-person shooters. And that game was just there was never anything like it. And that was also sort of like the beginning of like when video games started to become like kind of over the top and violent. Like, it started with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And then here comes Doom, this first person shooter where you have a gun.
Well, Mortal Kombat came out before Doom?
It did.
What?
Yeah, it came
that
out.
Doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it came out, I believe, 91 or 92.
Okay.
Doom came out in 93.
Okay.
Which is not too big of a difference. But the fact of the matter is these games kind of came out around the same time when the ESRB was getting ready to come in and they started rating games. And this game it blew my mind as a kid. I'd never played anything like it.
Yeah.
And it was also, as a kid, fucking terrifying.
Oh,
and it wasn't exactly a horror game. It was more action-based. But it was the first time I'd ever seen a game where you had that perspective and you had this just like these monsters and these things just running directly at your face. And the only way to defend yourself was to just blast the shit out of them with a shotgun, which was immensely satisfying.
No, it's like one of the best shotgun noises of any video game ever.
Yeah, plus set to that amazing like MIDI metal music.
Oh yeah,
that was
like
in the original
12-bit style
was
music.
so
It's so
awesome.
cool. Yeah, it was really
And,
cool.
you know, I'm not even a big shooter fan, but Doom is also, it's just one of those games that has always stuck with me because of the impact that it's actually had. And, you know, I played a little bit of Doom 2 and even Doom 64, which, awesome enough, since I pre-ordered the game, apparently I get that for free.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
they just re-released it, and it's the first time that a lot of people are actually going to get a chance to play that game because, one, Doom 64 is rare as shit, and what a lot of people don't know is that it's not just Doom 64 like the 64 version, it's actually a sequel to Doom 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
didn't know
it's
that.
actually a sequel in a sense. It's the real Doom 3 before there was Doom 3.
Yes.
Which, if you want to get confusing in terms of the Doom timelines,
Doom 3 was when it went totally all 3D, and there was the flashlight. And,
yeah, it went full horror
Yeah.
on Doom 3, which, you know, technically speaking, Doom 3 was awesome. I remember because you got it.
Yeah, and I
and
had
it
a
was-
badass gaming PC back in the day.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
that was like when PC gaming really started to get kind of...
That's like,
insane.
was that Half-Life 2 time?
That
too?
was... It was
Yeah.
right before Half-Life 2.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Because those
in
were the
gaming.
two games that sort of like set that standard for that generation in terms of like graphic capability.
Yeah.
And just like, I remember playing that for the first time and it was horrifying as shit and I liked it, but it wasn't as fast paced and action packed. And then in 2016, they did like another reboot of Doom.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is more my speed. It's super fast paced. It's insanely over the top and crazy. It's the type of shooter where you can't stand still. You got to constantly move and jump around and switch
Yeah.
between weapons while fighting
Yeah.
against literally hundreds of like enemies at once. And it's immensely satisfying. And I loved that game. And they finally just released a sequel, Doom Eternal, which is basically just bigger, better version of that in a lot of different ways.
It's some ways not a sequel. Yes, they added a great story to it. Yes, it's, you know, the presentation is better, but it's kind of like the 2.0 of the 2016 game. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all because the 2016 game was great. And I'm really glad that the flow of the game is so much better. I'm having a really hard time getting good at it, which I like because it's a fun challenging. It's not like
It's not frustrating. Like when I die, I'm not like angry. I'm like, oh, here we go. Let's go again. Like I keep thinking of like, what strategy can I do
would
differently?
love to see the load times that you're experiencing when you reload after you load a checkpoint because I feel like mine are too long. But I wish I had a PS Pro for that.
I don't
Just
have
for
a
that.
Pro though. I'm
Me
still
either.
using I'm using like the third generation like PlayStation Slim
Yeah.
in order to play this. I've never upgraded to the Pro, but it's working fine for me. You know, like whenever I die and I have to load up a checkpoint, I'm waiting about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's too long. I want instant. I wanna be
It's
right back
really
in.
not all that bad. But I think my favorite thing about the game though is how it just really opens up the possibilities in the third level. I'm gonna be honest. I played through the first two levels.
Yeah.
I really liked it, but I was like something.
The second level's the snow level?
The second level is
No, I'm on the snow level.
you're on which is the third level.
Okay.
The first level is kind of like just the standard tutorial. Let's go through a hellscape and just, show you how to do stuff. They do throw some pretty mean enemies at you, but for the most part, it's just like, this is how you do a glory kill. This is how you, use your chainsaw to get like ammo and stuff.
Yeah, showing
And,
you all the different methods.
And I liked the
Your
first
flame
two.
belch.
Exactly. Which is a brand new feature of the game, which is cool. It's like a little flamethrower attachment. Kind of reminds me of Predator weapons.
Yes, it's very Predator weapons, but no laser beams or
Exactly.
like lock-ons.
But it was the third level that really captured me. Like I said, the first two, I was like, this is fun and I'm liking it, but it's not blowing me away quite yet. That third level is where things start to get really crazy because they start to introduce more weapons.
Yes.
And my favorite new element of the game, which I know a lot of people are actually not going to like, which is the platforming challenges.
I fucking hated them, dude. It was so hard to get good at that. And I was like, I know I have to start liking this because this is definitely going to be in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me a while to get good at it.
And there's a few sections where they ask you to jump from like, there's like these little monkey bar things.
Yeah,
that
the
you hang
yellow
on that you can
bars,
jump
the
to,
yellow
and then
bars.
he'll immediately
Yeah.
start jumping as soon as he hits them. There's some sections where you're gonna hit like 10 or more of those
Yeah, and then they also
while
expect you
grabbing
to,
on the walls and
Yeah, and then they expect you to like double jump, like a Hail Mary move just to hit a recharge on the way down, just
Yeah.
to keep jumping. And those are hard.
but it is immensely satisfying when you can get it to work right.
Dude, I immediately bought the upgrade that helps you control yourself in the air.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that one yet.
Yeah, that one's great.
I thought about getting that one. I went for I'm trying to remember. I think it was something that like explosives last for like a longer time. Or there's
cool.
like a double explosive effect, like when you throw out your frag grenade.
Okay.
Or stuff like that. Like there's so much. It's funny for a game as simple as just running around and shooting things.
Yes.
It's surprisingly deep in the way that you can play it because of the combination of weapons and mods and things that you can do with your suit and with your guns.
And it's cool they show you all the guns you're going to get. Like the BFG 9000 is in your place.
Yeah.
In your man cave day one. You can't use it right away, but it's there. And the same thing with that big like slingshot gun that's going to come, you know, like it's like all in your man cave. And I've definitely been missing secrets. Have you been taking your time?
I have been taking such sweet time with this game.
I miss so many secrets. I just want to get to the battle stations.
Basically, I bring up my map,
yeah.
and if there's a part of it I haven't explored, I go to it.
Really?
And I just look around because I've been finding they have those little action figure dolls, the Funko Pop things. I love finding those, but you can also find cheat codes. You could find all sorts of challenges which you can use to unlock more upgrades.
I found the gate, but I couldn't find the key to get in.
Now those are the most fun things to find are the damn keys.
I couldn't find it. I gave up.
You're talking about the big purple doors, right?
Yeah, the purple
doors. All right,
doors.
so there's these awesome challenges that they usually put towards the end of a level. It's like this gated off area that's like really gnarly looking with these wolf statues and this like purple fire, and you have to find a key to get inside. And that's not even the real challenge. The challenge comes after, where then they throw you into this room of just pure death.
Yes, like a ton of demons, I'm sure.
And those are the sections that have been the most difficult for me. I'd played one last night, and it was the one on that level, on the third level, and my God, it took me like 8 tries to get it right.
I just left. I couldn't find the key.
No, I had to get it. You get these things called the Embryon keys.
Embryon keys.
Which, if you get like 6 of them, apparently you get something really special. So I've been really taking my time I don't leave a level until I complete that shit.
Yeah, no, I'm not like that.
I love that. Well, here's the thing, and this is a weird comparison. You know what this game reminds me of?
What?
A really super fast-paced Metroid Prime.
It kind of does. It also feels like just a good... Now, it's not a Nintendo game, but the level of depth and exploration you can put into it feels very like... I can't even believe I'm making this comparison, like Mario 64. Almost.
Exactly. Things are just hidden everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like doors you can punch or things you can shoot to open up a door or just like... Even just look around. You are going to find some things that are like around corners that they won't tell you about.
How'd you get that? Did you find that secret item on that big skull that was hanging from the chains?
Yes.
I couldn't get up there. So you gave up on that?
No, I did it.
Up. You got it.
Yeah. I worked really hard for that. They're also, this was like the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen. And I think it's something that's been in a lot of id Software games. It was in the third level. It was this like... There's like this ramp that you can walk on, and you look down it, and there's this massive chain rope, and on the end of it is like this goofy, green-looking cartoon character.
Oh, I haven't seen those yet, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They put them in all the other, and I saw it, and I was like, what the and it's so jarring, because it does not mesh well with everything. It looks like an anime goofy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And again, you have to like shoot something near it in order to get like a secret item from it. But it's just little things like that. Like look around the corners. There's stuff everywhere. And the platforming, like I said, kind of reminds me of how they do the platforming in Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of the floating platforms and just finding secrets everywhere.
I liked his ability to climb up edges is really automatic. You know, like it's just a very streamlined platforming thing. I also feel like this would be so much better on mouse and keyboard, and I am really suffering on a controller.
I mean, I don't play PC that much, so it doesn't bother me.
Can't we put a mouse and keyboard on our PlayStation?
Theoretically, you can. You could hook one right up and just go old school with it.
I'm fucking doing that when I get home. There's no way I'm beating that game with that shitty controller and its
At least
sticks.
the option is available to you.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome. I love that that's actually going to be a part of it. Also in the third level, I don't know if you've gotten to this part yet, and I hope I don't spoil anything too much. You get to play as someone other than the
No, I haven't
Doom
gotten
Slayer.
that part, but I've seen the videos. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can I talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, awesome section of this level. You go to this, like, stasis pod, and there's this enemy, which is called the Revenant.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the big skeletons with
the rocket launchers.
With the rocket launchers on their shoulders. And you get to, like, take control of it. Like, the Doomslayer puts his consciousness inside of it. And then there's, like, a whole arena where you get to control this thing and just wipe out all of these enemies using all of its signature abilities, being able to fly around, rocket shoulders, all types of cool stuff. And you do it to actually unlock a brand new weapon for the Doomslayer, which I'm not going to say what it is. I remember when we were talking on the phone last night because you were really hyped about the game and you were installing it. You're like, I think there's like 4 main weapons in the game. There's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
I just got my 5th weapon.
Oh,
so
snap.
there's probably going to be, I'm guessing, 10 weapons in the game, all of which have 2 separate mods to them.
Yes.
Which is kind of insane. And that weapon is awesome. I love it. It's probably my favorite weapon in the game so far. And then, of course, you get the dash ability, which is a brand new thing.
That makes you like move around the map so easy. Once you get all your move abilities, it's kind of like you can get away from fights, you can get into fights, you can just blow them away while you're dashing by. You know, there's so many ways.
It's a beautiful symphony of blood when you can just dance around, jump, dash, glory kill, chainsaw, rip things off, keep jumping. Like, there's this weird like feeling you get like later in the third level where you're like, whoa, I'm finally getting a flow for the game for how it actually works.
Man, the third level is also where they take the training wheels off and they're like, you either get this or you don't.
Yeah. It's where I've died the most, and it's where I've learned the most. There have been sections where I'll just stay in a section just to practice on something. And there are also practice rooms, and that's another thing.
The Ripatorium.
There's actually something I want to talk about.
Is that what it's called? The Ripatorium?
I'm not sure if it is.
It's something like that.
Yeah. One of my favorite new features of this game is that there's actually kind of like a hub, and it's like this giant like
the floating man cave.
It's basically it's a giant floating castle in space, which is also a spaceship. It's weird as shit. By the way,
this is not based in reality.
Forget the story of Doom. It's just stupid anyway. Don't pay attention to it. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
It doesn't.
But there's like this giant hub world. It's kind of like Starship Mario from Mario Galaxy.
Oh my god!
Except metal as shit. And there you can see all of these things you can unlock, whether it be brand new weapons or suits. You can unlock the original Doom Guy suit.
Yeah.
Which I saw was awesome.
I don't know how yet, but I'm sure it's got to be hard.
You have to get these power batteries that you can insert into each one.
Oh, the batteries,
which are hidden throughout all of the levels, and it makes me really anxious to always go back to the ship to see what I can unlock. There's also the demon prison.
Yeah.
Which is actually down below in the farthest depths where you can practice fighting against enemies.
That's the Ripatorium.
That's the Ripatorium?
Yeah, I think so.
Even if that's not the name, I want it to be called the Ripatorium.
I'm pretty sure it's something like that, where you can practice fighting either demon, I still don't understand how that works. I went there once and I don't know how to select the demon I'm going to fight.
I'm not sure how that works either, because when I walked in there, it was they just randomly popped up.
Yeah, it was, but that was a tutorial. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
they
force you to go down there. Like they're like, here, this is what this does. And by the way, that hub is huge. There's shit everywhere.
But it's sort of, I heard this as a criticism, and I agree, it's sort of empty in the sense that you have to walk a lot to get to each one.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really bother me.
I mean, once you get the dash and you're double jumping all over, and once you know the layout, like I literally spent 45 minutes just exploring it.
Yeah.
Just to get to know the lay of the land and just to see there's hidden shit all over and tons of little like Easter eggs and stuff. Like there's this whole room that's dedicated just to the Doomslayer. It's kind of like where he just hangs out.
Yeah.
There's fucking electric guitars on the walls.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. There's magazines that are like strewn out that are really funny. There's stuff everywhere. Like there's little Easter eggs that they put all over the place in that place, and I love it so much for that. There's never been anything like that in Doom before.
Nope.
And again, it reminds me of Nintendo games, of having like that hub world you can return to just take a rest, breathe, look at things you can upgrade, get some brand new unlockables. It's just a great new feature to that game. But man, that third level, it really impressed me with what the game is going to give me, and I still haven't fought a boss yet.
I'm almost concerned what that's going to be like, because I'm having a real hard time in the third level. So
yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, because I really got my
I can already
kicked.
tell. I know there's one section that you're probably having trouble with.
Yeah, it's like one of the
Is
big
it
battle-
one where you have to like punch a thing, jump over, jump on the thing, turn around, jump again, dash over, and grab?
Yeah, it was a son of a bitch.
That section was tough for me.
Yeah.
Because once you learn that you can, like when you jump on the monkey bar thing, when you get on that, you can immediately turn around.
Yep.
That changes everything. You
I
can
think
almost infinitely.
I'm stuck at the battle arena right after that. That's where I'm stuck.
That is a tough arena.
Yeah, that one was really hard.
It kicked my ass.
That's where my save file is at home right now. But I'm gonna go
and
home.
It just keeps getting crazier from there. There are so many. There are like 6 more arenas in that level.
I'm sure there are.
So get ready. And some of them are really confined. One I don't even want to talk about. There's one they put you in like this small section that will just fucking rip you to pieces.
Well, I'm excited to keep playing.
And like I said, play your own way, but I implore you, take your time, try to find hidden secrets. They are totally worth it. What
do you think of Animal Crossing? That's the other game to come out this week.
I don't have much to say about Animal Crossing because I don't have much of an opinion on Animal Crossing because I've never played a game in the series.
Ever.
My knowledge of Animal Crossing comes from Villager being a playable character in Super Smash Brothers.
And Lucille, or what's her name?
Isabelle.
Isabelle with the Doom guy memes.
Exactly, which has become a huge thing over the last week
Yep.
because these games release on the same day, and they are the exact opposite of each other in every single way possible. But the thing about Super Smash Brothers is that I've played just about every franchise that's like represented in that game, and whenever like a new one is introduced that I've never played, I tend to want to try it out. So like when they put Joker in the game for Persona, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give Persona a try. I played Persona 5. I loved it. And that goes for a few other things like Splatoon. Like I got Splatoon 2. The game is amazing. It's so much fun and super addicting. And now that there's a brand new Animal Crossing available on the Switch, I'm tempted to kind of want to try it out.
Yeah. It's probably an awesome quarantine game.
It's the perfect game for COVID-19.
Oh, God. That's not the commercial you want to make, but it's a real one.
Tailor-made.
Yeah.
Can't you see that? The Nintendo's COVID-19, perfect game, Animal Crossing. Nintendo, you're sleeping on this. The point is,
get in their face.
It's a life simulation game, though, which I've never really been a big fan of. Christian, I know you can do it.
Well, no, recently I tried Stardew Valley, and I really enjoyed that. That's like a life sim, but mostly an emphasis on farming.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it because there's like 4 seasons, and you get 30 days, and you have to pick the crops you want to grow, and you can use fertilizer in the soil, or you can't, and you can go to this mine and like mine resources to build up.
Needs more demon asshole ripping.
It needs more demons. Yeah, I agree. Mostly you fight bats and mummies in the mines. It's not very dark.
Sounds like Zelda.
Yeah, it's like Zelda. It's kind of like Zelda with farming. So the whole point is I really enjoyed that game, though, and I probably put in almost 30 hours on it, and it's just because I wanted to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $15 for that game and got 30 hours of fun. I think it was
a great deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
And you can still keep going.
Yeah, it's kind of never ending because the seasons just keep going year after year, and you can just keep growing new crops.
So it's one of those games kind of like Animal Crossing in a sense, or maybe even The Sims, where it's just like the game doesn't really end. You can just kind of keep going.
There are events that happen within the first 3 years that will always happen no matter what you do. It's sort of like to progress the story. But you have no obligation to go interact with the villagers, and no obligation to go to the town square except to buy supplies, But I like that it gives you that, because there's a seasonal, fair, like the summer thing and the fall festival and all that stuff. And you can choose to interact and make friends with the villagers, or you can just go and get the special items at those events and then go back to your farm and your mine hunting, for minerals and whatnot. So, and you can keep building up your farm, and I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but now that I'm playing it, it's like the most engaging gaming experience that I've had in a long time. Probably because it doesn't give you much, and it's more up to you to make it fun. Mm-hmm. It's more like a toolbox game.
That's why it sounds like you would probably like Animal Crossing, despite its extremely cutesy exterior.
I wish it was. I don't know if it's multiplayer, but I'd like my wife to play it with me.
There is an online multiplayer component. I'm not sure if there's like a couch co-op
there is
kind
no
of mode.
That doesn't exist anymore. I think they've killed that in almost every game.
I mean, there's a possibility, but I see that game, and I see that as a game that maybe you or your wife would probably at least enjoy playing.
I'd get her a Switch Lite, and we could play together.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, like Animal Crossing, good luck. Doom's going to win. Okay.
I wouldn't be so sure. Animal Crossing is so popular right now. The Switch is incredibly popular. Then again, Doom does have the advantage of being on many platforms.
Which ones?
PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Believe it or not, there's a Switch version that is going to be coming out.
Whoa.
It's not out yet.
Launch day.
It's not out yet.
Okay.
They basically haven't given an answer on saying when it's going to be released. And, I knew from day one, though, I'm getting PS4 version. If I had a PC, a super powerful one, I would definitely get it on that. But I have a PlayStation, so that's what I'm going to go with. And it was a good choice. It seems to be running really well. But don't discount Animal Crossing. That game is going to do gangbusters, especially with the current situation that we are in right now.
Yeah, let's see.
And I'm willing to give the game a chance. Like in a month, if I have a little extra money, I might pick up Animal Crossing. I might decide to get into it because, like I said, I want to have a firm understanding of like every character in Smash Brothers, and that's like the one thing I haven't really gotten into, which is basically Animal Crossing and Bayonetta. Haven't played Bayonetta yet. I'm waiting to get into that, but I'm waiting for that sequel. Hopefully that'll be decent. I love action games, but Animal Crossing, I don't know. Something about it has always intrigued me. My only fear is that I'm going to get really bored with it.
Yeah, you might.
I might.
because it's not a high-paced game.
I know it's not. It's the game you can play for 5 minutes or 5 hours.
And it's up to you to what you put into it.
Exactly.
You know?
So it might be a purchase that it might not be for me, but I'm intrigued, to say the least, especially with all the hype that's going on around it.
Yeah, the one thing I'd never do on those games is fishing. They always want me to go fishing and other things. That's the
I
one
hate
skill.
fishing in
I'm
games.
not interested. Just tap A. Keep tapping. You'll catch it.
And that's like a huge part of Animal Crossing,
Yeah, I'm good.
is bug catching and fishing.
Yeah, I'm good.
I like fishing in real life,
Maybe they made it more dynamic.
but I hate fishing in video games.
Yeah. So what else is going on the internet that you've been following? Anything else? Certain mangas?
I guess that's a pretty good segue. Let's go ahead and talk about the recent chapter of Dragon Ball Super. That's right, Dragon Ball Super has finally returned after a long month. The big arrival of Goku, and I'm going to go ahead and not sugarcoat it. The official chapter has not been released, but there are spoilers all out there, so consider
There's
this
like
something of
scans
a...
of the Japanese versions out.
Exactly. So consider this a spoiler discussion / review of the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super. So basically, I just got done looking at sort of the raw scans and looking at like a synopsis, and it's pretty easy to understand even without understanding Japanese. And I think you put it best. This is basically sort of like a retread of the Saiyan saga, where Goku arrived on Earth and just smacked Nappa's ass all over the place.
Yep.
This time, it's a different alien, and things are just as exciting as they were before. And this
Same
was
outcome, different people.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, to say the least, Saganbo, who is the goon that's being controlled by Moro, seems to be doing a lot better job than Nappa is. Still, I don't really think he's giving Goku a very difficult time.
No, Goku's not. Doesn't look like he's trying. He ends up taking him out. And it was just an interesting chapter to see, because I think he wraps up everything with Krillin. He wraps up, and then he shows up and saves Gohan and Piccolo.
Tien and Yamcha.
Yeah. And then, you can see the Galactic Patrol guys like wrapping everyone up using their sealing scrolls. Oh, wait, different series. And they're putting them all back on the ships and driving them back to jail. Putting them in the Galactic Paddy Wagon.
The Galactic Slammer, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
And away they go.
Yeah.
I guess the biggest part of that chapter is the when Goku turns on Ultra Instinct. I think it's called Omen or Ultra Instinct, like 0.5%. Like, he didn't go all the way because his hair's not all the way white. And we saw this with Jiren wherever he was just sort of like tapping into the ability but not fully mastering it. Because, at the end of the Jiren fight, the World Tournament, the hair goes white and he fully masters it.
It depends on what like translation you're reading too. They give it like a different name. To me, it's just Ultra Instinct, just not fully powered up.
Yeah. So it's interesting, and also Moro doesn't look like scared; he more looks frustrated. So that's kind of a bad sign, because he kind of understands what it is, but he's not terrified by it. So it's interesting, and it does not surprise me that Moro knows what this is.
Exactly.
No, I mean, he's an all-knowing wizard guy.
The all-knowing wizard guy.
Yeah.
But that was really just a small part of the chapter. It was an exciting part.
Yes.
And definitely a great way to hook in readers and bring them in. It was really cool to see Goku just turn that on, though. That's what I really loved, because that's been one of the biggest struggles of using Ultra Instinct, is that he hasn't really known how to master it yet. And his training with Maris seems like now he can just sort of turn that initial form on as long as he concentrates enough. And that's really cool to see. It shows that he's getting that much closer to actually mastering this technique. And again, I think that's been one of the best things about Ultra Instinct when compared to the Super Saiyan forms, is that he basically would just scream and he would have it. And then that was it. From that point on, Goku has that power, and he's going to use it when he has to. He has been working his ass off to try and master this ability,
Yes.
and still can't quite use it perfectly yet.
No.
That's been my favorite thing about Ultra Instinct. If it were up to me, he would almost never perfectly master it at all. It would just, the series would end with him just kind of maybe he can do it when he wants to. But I'm glad to see that it is actually returning in some form. It is a little disappointing that the manga is in black and white and you can't see it in all of its glory, and that did make me kind of like question, is he using Ultra Instinct? But I saw it more in his eyes.
It's the eyes, and then his power, the aura around him is the circles, the dots,
Exactly.
like disappearing, going up, while blue has the flakes, the blue flaky dandruff power, and then like it looks like leaves almost peeling away from them, and then Super Saiyan is like the fire, electricity erupting off of them.
That was a beautiful description.
Yes. Well, it's true. Each form has its own like energy around him.
It's kind of like how Super Saiyan 2 has like the electrical stuff.
Yeah, they added that, and then Super Saiyan Well, there's also Ascended Super Saiyan, which has electricity.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're getting deep in the lore.
Yeah, now we're getting a little too insane here.
Super Saiyan 3 with no eyebrows.
Oh, God. For some reason, I guess all the extra hair has to go to the back. I guess that's like the whole point.
Yeah.
But the whole Ultra Instinct thing, that was really just like the one part of the chapter. Most of the chapter was Goku fighting against Saganbo, who is still being powered up by Moro. And it looks like throughout the entire chapter, Moro is just continuously infusing him with power. No matter how much he gets beat up, he just keeps on fighting, almost as if he's sort of like controlling him like a puppet, which seems to be annoying Goku just a little bit until, of course, he uses his full power to finally take him out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Moro. He likes to use people, so it doesn't surprise me. It's kind of a Frieza vibe. You know, when Frieza was first introduced, Frieza doesn't have any like compassion for life, and I think you're seeing a lot of that trait brought here with Moro. I just don't know what this fight is going to bring, because obviously Vegeta is coming, and that's going to be stage 2, chapter 2, if you will, of this fight after they actually get going.
Yeah.
So, and it seems like they're setting Vegeta up to be the savior of this arc because it's his time. Because also, this is a major shift for Dragon Ball. Why? Because the new powers are not screamy powers. They're calm, collected powers. You get quiet, and then boom, you switch this new power on. And that is actually a huge shift. You know, if you want to say that's where the godlike power realm lies and more of the calm stuff, that's where we're going with the series.
That's a good way of looking at it. I really like that.
Yeah, well, it's all screamy power-ups until just now. And then Goku went quiet, shut his eyes, and then his eyes opened. He was in Ultra Instinct. You know,
Boom.
there was no screaming.
Exactly.
No clouds getting pushed away as we push in on his face screaming as the sky separates.
10 minutes go by before he becomes a Super Saiyan 3.
It's just going to be cool music, and they're going to show shots of his face, and his eyes are going to open, you know, and there's going to be no screaming.
And they'll go around the world, and every single character who's ever appeared in Dragon Ball will say, "I've never felt a power like this before."
And they'll have jiggly eyes. Yeah.
Exactly. They'll do that shit.
No.
Also, they're breaking convention here. Goku is here. Vegeta's not. Again, going back to your whole theory about him being like the main hero of this saga, you know, it's starting to look like that could potentially happen here. Goku's the first one to arrive. Typically, he's the last guy to show up to save the freaking day, Superman style.
I think that Vegeta had a more calculated approach. He's like I want to go learn a new technique. Obviously, Goku kind of did the same thing. They literally did the same thing in different ways, but I think Vegeta's is a little more calculated, and that might be where he gets the edge on Goku, because Goku is not a calculated guy. He's a great fighter. He's calculated in that aspect, but he's not like, if I do this training, I might win versus that training. You know, like he's more like, who do I just train with? You know? So, and also Goku got very lucky that an angel essentially broke the rules to teach him. You know, so that's not an opportunity he's going to get.
He seems to get lucky when it comes to meeting all sorts of deities and gods.
It's like he has plot armor.
Yeah.
It's like someone's leading him in the story.
It's like he's the main character, the chosen one, if you will. Not exactly, but still. So let's just get hypothetical for a second. Let's say Goku fights against Moro. He ends up getting defeated. Vegeta shows up, shows off some brand new powers, ends up just whipping Moro's ass and doing some awesome shit. But then suddenly Moro decides to reveal his trump card because, let's face it, he's a crazy old goat wizard. He's going to have another trick up his freaking magical-ass sleeve.
Yeah.
And he's going to somehow defeat Vegeta, and then Goku's going to come in, use Mega Ultra Instinct, whatever they want to call it this time, and he ends up winning.
Yeah.
Will that disappoint you if Goku ends up being the guy who finishes him off again?
No, it's expected.
Yeah.
I just hope Vegeta has his own time to shine, and he's probably not going to win. The Goat Wizard's probably going to use Earth magic and blast him with Earth energy volcanoes or something. I don't know how to describe what fucking Moro's powers are like. But the point is, or he's going to blow up Earth. Bad guys always seem to get desperate at this level and blow planets up when they can't win. Earth is in real problem. It's a real problem for Earth right now because Moro's power essentially is using Earth, you know, as a battery, and he's on the planet. It's not like he has to go summon it. He's stepping on the planet right now. So
will this battle actually conclude on Earth?
No.
Is this the final battle, or is this literally just sort of like the beginning of something else?
As I'm saying this, I don't really think Earth in the Dragon Ball universe is actually at risk because that's where Beerus will step in. He's like, you ain't fucking with my snacks, bro.
I don't know if Beerus is going to get involved in this arc. Again, it's a good theory that, he would want to protect Earth simply just because he likes the food there, but I just don't think he gives a shit of anything that's going on right here.
That's weird.
Then again, you do have a villain whose main power is to quite literally consume and destroy planets. That's a god of destruction's job.
Yeah, exactly.
All right? Maybe not to consume it, but at least to destroy it.
Whis is on this shit, okay? Look, Beerus,
They're aware of what's going on.
Whis is gonna not make sure shit gets too crazy.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, just grab Beerus and warp him over there. He's like, why am I here? And they'll get pissed off and kill Moro.
That would be kind of anticlimactic, to be honest. I mean, my main hope still is that Vegeta is going to be the one to actually finish the fight, just to give us something different and to allow Vegeta to be like the hero for once. I think he's earned it at this point.
I mean, his training is also kind of an ego check training.
Exactly.
His training is built to develop Vegeta's character, not just his power.
Which is saying a lot for Dragon Ball, which, let's face it, doesn't have the deepest characterization in the world. And Vegeta has arguably had the most characterization of anyone in all of Dragon Ball Super.
Not second, like Frieza's under him, but definitely next is Frieza recently. But
I mean, Vegeta has just, man, ever since Super, he's practically a different character.
Yamcha's arc from bandit to hero, beautiful.
What a change. From loser to even bigger loser. It's insane. But, like, Vegeta, like I said, you could even tell, like, when the Dragon Ball Super manga and anime came out for the first time, you're like, there's something different about Vegeta. Like, he's just not the same character anymore. Ever since the end of the Majin Buu arc, he sort of let go of a lot of his hatred.
He's got apprentices now. He's got the other dude from he's skinny Vegeta. He's training now.
He gives a shit about his family. He does the bingo dance. He's not afraid to actually train under people now. He actually has a little bit of respect for Goku. Like, the character has drastically changed.
And I think this is the culmination of that character.
This could be his moment.
Or is he just going to be a medic where all he does is go in and COVID? All he is go in and just heal people with his new healing powers.
That is possible.
He could just become a paladin, you know?
He could allow Goku to just keep going.
Yeah, he's like,
Ultra Instinct.
Heal
boom,
you.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they work together. Maybe they fuse. Still, I just want Vegeta to be involved in this victory. That's what I want.
I don't think fusion works in this. Fusion isn't the trick, because the more power you have, the more you can steal. It's sort of like you have to attack it from a more specialized way.
Yeah.
You know, Moro is an interesting villain because more power, bigger power-ups, bigger energy levels don't really help you. You know, it's more like you have to strategically take him out. Maybe Boo will even come back too with the fat Kai.
I feel like they have to strategically get rid of Boo in certain parts of the story because,
they're doing it with Beerus.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, while he is, compared to Goku and Vegeta, not the strongest character in the series anymore, he does have one of the most crazy regenerative abilities in the entire series.
Plus the Candy Zapper,
which is basically the end-all ability.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to get hit by it, but still, like, he still has those powers that give him such a ridiculous edge in
They
battle.
essentially don't use it anymore.
No.
Because they don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like, nah, we have to get rid of Beerus. We have to get rid of Boo. Yeah. These guys are just too ridiculous.
They have chump cards.
It's not a matter of, who can bust a planet. Anybody can do that at this point. These guys just have abilities, which are insane. Dude turns people into candy. Dude can literally touch someone and make them not exist anymore.
Yes.
So they have to conveniently sweep them under the rug to allow our heroes to do something else.
Yeah.
I will say, I was kind of hoping we'd get to see a little bit more of the side characters battling against
another chapter or two of that.
Yeah, another couple chapters of that I would have been okay with. I have a feeling if
I wouldn't, because these fucking chapters take a month to come out.
In that sense, yeah, I totally agree. But if the anime version ever comes back, and let's face it, it's going to return, they're probably going to adapt to this arc, and that would be something really good to expand upon. Is just give us more of those battles, give us more of those characters.
Yeah.
I just think that's something I'd want to see.
Yeah, expand on in the anime, for sure. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about One Piece? Or do you want to wrap this up?
Before we jump into that, so basically, that's our thoughts on Dragon Ball Super. We want to hear yours. What you thought about the current chapter, what you hope to see in the big battle between Goku and Moro. How is Ultra Instinct going to work? Is it not going to work against Moro? Is Vegeta going to show up at the last second? What's going to happen? Let's discuss it in the comments section below. But right now, let's go ahead and jump into One Piece. I've been on vacation for the last couple weeks. I haven't had an opportunity to read these chapters. I just got back, and I finally had a chance to read them, and crazy shit is going down. One, we finally wrapped up the freaking backstory
of
Odin and his family, how they were sent into the future of what happened to the 9 red scabbards, and we finally get some big revelations about some of these characters. Before we move on to what is one of the biggest revelations, which is that one of these members of the 9 red scabbards is indeed a traitor, we actually get to learn a big truth. In the last podcast and the last review of One Piece, I was talking about the character of Denjiro, who was a member of Odin's team, and he was also one of the super powerful samurai who doesn't really do anything, except that he's actually been one of the most active members of the group we didn't realize until one of the most recent chapters. So my theory, of course, is that Denjiro was actually the person who trained Zoro. It's not the case at all. It's not who it is at all.
No.
It turns out that Denjiro is that one Yakuza boss who goes by the name of Kiyoshiro.
Yep.
And I don't know how I didn't see that coming, but there is a lot of evidence to it. When I learned this fact, I looked up a ton of videos and theories, and people have been theorizing about this for like 6 months.
Really?
And I have not seen it at all.
Odin's a good writer, man. He's great at hiding things in front of you.
He really is. And
well,
I
he
didn't believe
overwhelms you with characters.
Yeah.
And then he's like, why didn't you see it? Because you wore me down, bro.
You just introduced like 30 characters in this chapter. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Then again, people, they really analyze and they read this stuff, and I really like that. I applaud the critical thinking and the analytics of looking at that. But also, Denjiro looks nothing like Kiyoshiro at all. They are just the exact opposite in every single way, so there's no way that I could have predicted it. He was this guy with slick back hair and sunglasses, and suddenly he turns into this goofy pompadour Yakuza guy. And it does make sense. You go back and you look at the scenes, the interactions between Kiyoshiro and Komurasaki, otherwise known as Hiyori, and you can see that there's this like weird sort of relationship between these two characters where he never really goes far to actually hurt her and always gives up in these situations that actually end up helping her a lot.
Yes.
So basically, Denjiro is one of those characters who has not gone forward in time and has taken on the guise of this Yakuza boss so that he can work closely with Orochi so that he can supposedly take him out at some time and maybe start some sort of coup against the group. Why he's waited 20 years, maybe it's all a part of this crazy time-traveling plot, but that was one of the biggest surprises at the very end of that entire
inside
backstory.
guy on the good guy side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's been there working alongside Komurasaki, in a way, sort of raising her.
Yeah.
And prepping her for this big event that's going to be happening 20 years later during this big event where they're going to try and take down Kaido and Orochi and all this other crazy shit. So yeah, basically the entire backstory is officially finished. And I'm glad, personally. I liked the backstory, but man, did it go on for a long time.
You know what else I like? I like seeing Luffy punch dudes in the face. And we haven't seen that in a
You're
while.
a simple man with simple tastes who likes simple things. And I have to agree. I wanted to see Luffy return and do some badass shit. And luckily, it doesn't look like we're going to have to wait much longer. So,
what are they going to do with the traitor?
What are they going to do with the traitor? So that's been one of the biggest things right before this entire damn backstory thing was dropped on us. They had that big scene where Kinemon and all of those people who work directly under Odin were getting ready to storm Kaido's place, and they were going to kick some ass. And they were going to receive some help and some reinforcements, which never showed up. They ended up getting invaded by the Beast Pirates, and they're like, oh shit, what's going on here? Is there a traitor amongst us?
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest talk here. And everybody has had their theories as to who it was actually going to be. And it ends up being none other than Kanjuro. Kanjuro.
Yep.
That bastard.
That
and you know what? It
shitty
makes
drawing
perfect
dude.
sense. He is a kabuki.
Yeah.
He is an actor. He's an actor. He's been tricking these people this entire time with his quite literal act. Not only that, but he's not as shitty of an artist as we originally imagined.
No, he does that on purpose.
Yes, he does that to fool all of his enemies. And what I love about revelations like this is that it gives me an opportunity to go back and either watch the anime. Excuse me. It gives me an opportunity to either go back and watch the anime or read the manga and see if I can find clues as to what this guy was actually doing this entire time. And I have to say, man, they did a good job of actually hiding the fact that this guy is a shit eater. And just...
They did it really... I didn't think... I always thought it was weird when he showed up. I was like, where'd he come from? You know,
it is a little strange, isn't it?
Because they saved the one guy on Punk Hazard, and they met the samurais, and then I felt like he just sort of appeared. And no
during
one really
the
said anything.
during the Doflamingo arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just appeared, or he was just on the island. They're like, "Whoa, this is a coincidence.
Yeah.
Join our group," and no one really like okayed him, or he didn't prove anything really. He did draw like some tigers that everyone rode on or some shit.
I mean, he drew a lot. He drew that shitty sparrow.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff. And they did a great job of building him up as sort of like this funny, goofy side character who's just really good friends with Kinemon. And that's because that's what he is. Like, for these years, he's been secretly working for Orochi. He's a part of his family. And he's been doing this to get even closer to that group so that eventually, of course, he can snuff them out. And here's sort of the perfect opportunity to reveal himself because he actually is able to take Momonosuke away. And as opposed to just straight up just killing him right there and destroying the entire line altogether, he's going to decide to bring him to Kaido because that's what evil monologuing villains like to do. But it was a really big shock because it also revealed his secret ability that he is a great drawer, and he actually created a clone of himself.
Yes.
It was like a perfect clone, and Kinemon even attacks him and destroys it, and that's when he reveals that he's actually an amazing artist. So this has actually got me really hyped to see what he's going to create in the future, like what sort of crazy drawings and abilities he's going to have now. But it was kind of a shock, I have to admit.
No, it's kind of interesting. I did not see it coming, and I think it says I never found that character interesting. I never thought that anything that he was saying was important, and now that they reveal him as the bad guy, I'm like, fucking Odin is such a good writer.
Oda.
You know? Oda. Oh, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Great writer, great at revealing things. Like, even though you know that so many things, like there was going to be so much backstabbing in this arc, it feels like more's on the line in this arc.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like we've had such a build up to get here. We had Punk Hazard, which pretty much introduced the concept, and now we're here. So we're like 2 or 3 arcs in just to get here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's kind of interesting.
I mean, this is arguably the biggest arc of the series thus far.
Yeah, but you say that almost every arc. Not you. I'm saying like you always feel like that.
Yeah.
They have one way of stepping it up every arc,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's that Foxy one where they just box.
The Davy fight back arc?
Yeah, that one. Not as important.
Which they made even longer in the anime version by adding even more competition to it?
Yeah, really important stuff.
Best
in the One
arc
Piece
of the
lore.
series as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we'll have to make.
You really didn't like the Foxy arc?
No, it was okay. It just wasn't as important. It wasn't like, it wasn't as death-defying or, it wasn't as interesting. They just punch each other a lot till someone quits.
In retrospect, it really doesn't have much of an outcome on anything.
No, it doesn't.
It was an in-betweener arc. But still, but yeah, this arc right here has just been insane with everything that they've actually been adding to it. But yeah, Conjuro actually being the traitor is a really big surprise. Before I just saw him as sort of like a goofier version of Sai from Naruto.
Yeah.
And now I view the character in a completely different light. And the big surprise, of course, after that is that it looks like they're actually going to be saved by none other than Luffy, Trafalgar Law, and Kid, who've actually shown up. And interestingly enough, it looks like the Thousand Sunny has been repaired.
Boom, boom. We're
Boom,
good.
boom. It's back. The
That
ship is
easy.
here. They're not going to have to get another one, which is really awesome. And it's just finally great. I love that badass moment where they're like, no, you're going to have to fight against pirates now. You can almost see the to be continued screen from the anime popping up right at that moment. Like,
Yeah, it
that was
looks
just
awesome.
such a really great moment. That was super triumphant. And it's just great to finally see Luffy and Kid and Law working together.
Yeah, it's going to be this is pretty much endgame for this arc. I think we're moving into that.
Maybe.
Not endgame, but I'm saying like we're about to line up final fights. We're about to line up a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited about that.
I think this is a big rescue mission, which is about to happen. I don't know if they're going to go immediately and take on Kaido. Maybe they're just going to save Kinemon and their group and come up with a brand new plan.
Maybe it goes Orochi first,
Yeah.
and then
They got to deal with
Kaido.
Orochi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Orochi first and then Kaido. I don't think they're doing both at the same time, but then again, they have like 35 fucking people, so
More than that.
you know what I mean.
Like, the amount of characters in this arc is overwhelming. I have to be
I am
perfectly
having a
honest.
hard time following some of the things you're even saying with the names.
I know.
Like I'm like, fuck, I don't remember all these people.
Kanjuro Korizumi.
Yeah, no,
He's from Orochi's family.
it just sounds like a lot of Japanese words to me.
It is a lot of Japanese words. Honestly, that's one of the other elements that's made the Wano arc so hard for me to sort of follow, is because before, a lot of the characters were really, like, they had simple names. Luffy, Nami, Robin, Lucci, Zoro, Brook. And now you have all of these, like, Japanese names, which are just so hard to remember. And the fact that there are just so many characters and so many different factions going up against one another.
That
And
all
I
have
a
different
feeling-
interests.
And even when you have all of these factions that are actually involved in this arc in One Piece, I have a feeling others are going to get involved too. I'm waiting for the Marines to show up.
The Marines are going to show up. You still got Big Mom. Is her pirates going to get involved, or is it just her that's getting involved? Her pirates came and dropped her off. Some of her generals did. You know, so they're there. So we'll see.
I mean, she's teamed up with Kaido right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a giant fight when they actually.
Is Shanks going to show up?
Is Shanks? Yeah.
No, fuck it. Blackbeard. Let's bring him in too.
No, don't bring Black. That's too much then. That's just too much. The Revolutionary Army, are they coming? You know, who knows? The Revolutionaries, or what do they call themselves?
Yeah, the Revolutionaries.
Yeah, we'll see if they show up, but they got disturbed pretty bad because the Blackbeard pirates attacked them, and Sabo's supposedly captured.
Supposedly.
He probably is. They wouldn't have said it.
Or actually, they said that I think Sabo was dead.
Dead,
but
or
that's
captured.
not true.
No. They kill important characters off screen. No, they don't do that. They don't do that. Overall, awesome chapter. Let's see what they do with the next chapter, because I am pretty excited to see what One Piece is doing next week. And yeah, overall, real good chapter. Do you want to give it a rating? Do you do that anymore?
Not really. I mean,
it's a 7 out of 8.
Out of a 5, I would definitely give it a 4. It's just
go.
really exciting. Great revelation. Again, it's one of those chapters where, not much happens. It's a weekly manga series, though, so it's to be expected. But big things happened. Kanjuro being revealed, and, of course, Luffy and their crew showing up at the very end. Teaming up with Eustace, Kid, and freaking Law. That's a really big deal. So I'm just excited to hopefully see a lot of crazy action in the coming weeks. We're just a few days from the latest chapter, so I'm excited to see what that's going to be about. But what about you guys? What did you think about the latest chapter of One Piece, the end of Oden's backstory, Denjiro being Kiyashiro, Kanjuro being the traitor, Luffy showing up? What do you hope to see in the ridiculousness that is the Wano Kingdom arc? Sound off in the comment section below.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our podcast. And if you want to, please leave a comment suggesting what you want us to talk about. If you want, check out our Patreon and our PayPal pages if you like what we do. And as always, subscribe and hit the bell notification. Anything else, Corey?
Just want to say that we know these are trying times right now, everything going on with the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19. All we ask is that you guys just stay calm, look out for one another, and if you do want to help support this channel and this podcast and all of these different reviews that we are doing, the best way, of course, is to continue watching us. But if you want to go the extra mile, please check out the description box below. You'll find links to our PayPal, our Patreon, all that stuff, our Amazon links. A little bit goes a long way, and it would really mean a lot if you guys could actually help support us in this time right now. Again, though, the best way is to continue to watch and to share these videos with your friends. So with that, we will see you guys next time.